Hello, it's time for another Combat Patrol unboxing. It's a delivery day today, so we have our latest delivery. It's actually Black Friday and we got a black bag, so yay! So in this, our fourth delivery, we get our paintbrush set as part of the subscriber gifts. We get issues 11, 12, 13 and 14, so we get 4 paints and the unit of Terminators. Can't wait to build and paint those guys. We also get, of course, the usual lore, build, paint guides, and of course some nice new scenarios for us to play through. Don't forget, finally, Combat Patrol Carnage is proudly sponsored by warbay.shop, your one-stop supply for all your hobby needs. They stock new and used armies and models for various different game systems, as well as, of course, your dice, tokens, paints, and paintbrushes that you'll need for your full hobby shebang. They're also stockists of Combat Patrol, and they have advanced orders for up to the early 20 issues, so you can start picking up your Eldari models now. I'm going to try and put in an order for the Wraith Lord and possibly the Wraith Guard if they're there issues, as I'd like to add some extra to my Eldari force. So check them out, there'll be a link in the video description for you for warbay.shop. And finally then, before we hit the table, don't forget to do all the usual, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop me a comment down below. Out of the 4 issues in this delivery, which are you excited for the most? I know 3 of those are already out, so I'm definitely going to say the 2 issues that have the Terminators, because paint issues aren't all that great at the moment. Hopefully we'll get a few more better paint issues as the collection progresses. Maybe even some hopeful duplicate paints for those that we've used quite a lot of and going to be using quite a lot of in the future. Right, let's head to the table and rip open this lovely black bag full of models and paints. So here we are then. Let's start ripping open. If I can. There we go. Tip everything out. So, ooh. It's STC brushes. I was expecting the classic black handled brushes. So nice. We get a STC small layer, STC large large base, and an STC dry small brush as well. So pretty cool. Definitely going to be useful. That's my excuse me, packing slip. So I've got a feeling I know what this one is. It's issue 11, which comes with Lead Belcher and Corax White. Then we've got issue 12 with our first frame of the Terminators. And issue 13, luckily I do have the 25mm base. Apparently there's a lot of people reporting this is missing in their copy. So hopefully it's just a matter of only those that have been shipped out to stores. And oh dear, I got a problem of the hole punch not going all the way through. Not very good. But yeah, that's the other half of the Terminator sprue, or quarter, I guess. And finally then, we've got 2 more paints, so Screaming Pink and Rackar Flesh. It'll be quite interesting to see what the paints are used for. I'm guessing on the Space Marines Purity Seals, Wax and Parchment. But whether we'll see any use on the Tyranids, I'm thinking pink for tongues. Not too sure about the Rackar Flesh though. So yeah, definitely looking forward to opening this one. So let's head back to the start. We'll start with issue 11, of course. Work our way through, and I'll be able to give you guys a bit of a ratings, and I'll put, of course, the prices and stuff in post. ready for you guys to see what exact savings are on offer here. So let's get to it. So starting with issue 11. I do apologise for both the lack of videos and my current voice, but I am a bit bunged up with the lurgy at the moment, so yeah, haven't been able to get around to doing much videos. I've been feeling too stuffed up to get around to doing much, sadly. I have planned to do Lamar test this week and the Night Questor paint video, but yeah, didn't get around to it, sadly. But hopefully next week or the week after, try and do it in between videos I'm doing for this. So yeah, here we are, the paints, Corax White and Lead Belcher, two very handy paints for the collection. We're going to be using them over quite a few different units and models. So quick flick through the magazine. First off, we got a paint guide, how to use our new paints. So yeah, Lead Belcher on a lot of the different silver details on the Space Marines, such as guns, weapons, piping, Crux Terminatus on the Iron Halo there, the axe and vents on the back of the Terminators. Corax White is used exclusively on the Terminator models, so the captain's shoulder pad there, as well as the two Crux Terminatus pads. And yeah, pretty much that's it. Models are starting to look a little bit better now they've got the silver on them. Definitely closer to being complete, but we still have a fair way to go. Lore-wise, we got page on the Cult Mechanicus, so pretty cool page there for the Adeptus Mechanicus stuff. We got bioweapons of the Tyranids, new short story Into the Dark. We learn about phases and objectives in our tutorials. So turn breakdown, what happens. So we start on command, movement, shooting, charging, and fighting, and then we change turns. Objectives, so most missions will require objectives. A lot of people will do the printouts where they have the objective and then the 3-inch bubble, so you know exactly where you are. I do like the spearhead boards that have them pre-done like this. The different daises, it's nice. It takes up a lot of the board, but it does show exactly where the objectives are, so it's pretty handy. Hope they do that something in the near future for the future of Combat Patrol, maybe in the 11th edition. Bit about the objective and the objective control characteristic. Tracking of victory points, so these are always done in 5s, which we'll see at the end of the issue. Then we have our scenario, which is going to help us learn about objectives. So Tyranids and the Space Marines. Start with the Space Marine turn. Then we have the Tyranid turn, our victory, and on the back of the issue we got 5 victory points worth there for keeping track, and we have 6 objectives. So I'm going to photocopy this, stick them on some card, and get them cut out. And on the back we know what we're going to get in the next 2 issues. So that's issue 11. Alright, issue 12 then. So, not much in this issue. We do get the larger of the 2 frames for the Terminators. So I believe you can build 3 complete models on this frame. You have the Assault Cannon and 2 of the Stormbolter guys. The Sergeant and the other Stormbolter guy is on the remaining frame. You can also build the Teleport Homer as it's a single piece. Yeah, pretty bog standard. But yeah, really looking forward to building and painting these guys, especially in ultramarine colours, as I haven't done them since I think Assault on Black Reach, so in my early days of collecting. So yeah, diving into the issue, we got our build guide for the Terminators. So it shows us how to build all 5 members of the squad plus the Teleport Homer. We have the Tactical Doctrine, a lovely battle shot there of the old 8th edition starter set, Dark Imperium. I see the Gravis Captain, the Ancient, 2 Lieutenants, one there and one at the back. 2 squads of Intercessors, the Interceptors and the Hellblasters. Lovely set that was. Different types of bolt rifles. Then we have the Assault Doctrine. That is the Christmas box from a couple of years back. I have just got the ATV to finish building. I think I've still got 5 Jump Intercessors to do as well. I've just finished painting the Outriders for my Blood Angels. Converted the Captain to have a Storm Shield and Thunderhammer. So yeah, just 5 more of these dudes to build and paint for my Blood Angels, as well as the Outrider. So yeah, the Assault Doctrine, all about closing with the opponent and chopping them up. Different melee weapons and close range weapons, such as pistols. So the good old fashioned Power Fist, Power Sword, the Chainsword, Plasma Pistol and Bolt Pistol there. For our tutorials, we start learning about Battle Shock tests. So below half strength, what Battle Shock tests are. So you roll 2d6, then you match the number rolled to the leadership value of the unit you're rolling for. If you're higher than the value, you pass. If you're lower than the value, you fail. Battle Shock, if you are Battle Shocked, you do lose your objective control ability, so you won't be able to control objectives. Ordinarily, you may fall back. However, Battle Shocked units will risk taking damage when they fall back, representing perils of a desperate and disorganized fleeing. So yeah, not very good. Next scenario, hold or die. So we have a few more objectives than last time. It's all about, again, controlling the objectives and trying to take the enemy down before they take you down, as well as integrating the wounds and Battle Shock phase of the game. So we've now got a pretty much full round of the game. So it goes through a couple of turns and of each side, so pretty cool. Shows us better. I'm going to have to definitely read through these quite in detail. Then our victory, then our next 2 issues. Speaking next issue, on to, unlucky for some, 13. So in this issue we get the final frame as well as all our bases. So 5 40mm hex hole bases for our Terminators and 125 for our Teleport Homer. Oh! And then we have the other frame, so your regular guy and your Sergeant plus the heads and stuff. So yeah, pretty cool. On to the magazine, so we'll have the paint guide in here, which we see straight off. So yeah, painting these much like our regular Space Marines. So starting with a base coat of Macragge Blue, picking out all the casings and joints with Abaddon Black, picking out the gold details with Retributor Armour, silver details of Leadbelcher, and we're actually using Corax White. So for the veteran helmets, except for the Sergeant, he'll get a red one later. And of course the Crux Terminator. So you've got quite a few on Terminators, as it's a very holy relic for the Terminator Squad. So it's often repeated in quite a few positions. So yeah, just take your time going over all the models and use your gallery at the end here just to double check everything. Don't forget to paint the spent casings on the base of the Assault Cannon guy gold. And yeah, there we have it. That's our unit so far, looking good. For our lore articles, we have creating a Space Marine, what it goes through, selecting your candidates, changing the physiology into superhuman levels. I'm sure there's more to that, so we'll get another page later on. And we have part 3 of Bonds of Honor. So Sergeant Askerton's story continues as our chaplain and the new recruits edge closer to the Fortress Monastery. We have our battle record for the Terminators, so as usual I'll be rolling for the unit name and their background there. Got the data sheet for them there as well, and of course now we can learn about leaders. Now that we've got units, our little characters can actually join. So you'll have noticed the Librarian and Captain have the leader keyword, and it says they can be attached to Terminators. So from this mission onwards you have the choice of equipping the Terminator Squad with one of those 2 leaders, so that'd be pretty cool. So personally, I kind of like the Librarian for getting the sustained hits on a lot of the weapons. Should be pretty cool, especially with devastating wounds on the assault cannons there. So 6s to hit, get extra hits if the Librarian's attached, and then 6s to wound with the assault cannon are devastating. So yeah, very dangerous combination. The Captain, though, he does give them reroll charge rolls for this model's unit, though. That's pretty cool if you want to get them in combat. But really, that'd be ideal if you had assault Terminators, which I have a squad made up for my Blood Angels. We have, so yeah, here we have the Veil of Time power, giving sustained hits to the unit he's joined. And then we got Unstoppable Valor, so the charge reroll there for the Terminator. And attacking a unit with a leader, so you must deplete the unit in order to be able to actually target the leader. Unless you have abilities that say you can ignore units, like some sniper weapons, I believe, have an ability. We got a couple of rules now about different types of movement. So stealth is something the Von Ryan's Leapers get to do, and they also have the fight first rule as well, so we learn a bit more about them. And then we have a burden of command, so this basically gives you the chance to try out your new rules that you've learned, so attaching your characters. So it might be a good idea to do this mission twice, so you have a chance to try each different leader in charge of the Terminators. So Tyranids, all of your Tyranids, and only your Terminator Space Marines. So yeah, we won't be using our First Marines in this mission. This is basically a first company assault. Pretty cool though. So yeah, basically full on assault with the Tyranids. Again, we've got 2 objectives to fight over and get victory points. And there we go. So now we can start seeing what's happening in the next issues. So 2 new paints we know we're going to see in a minute. And next issue after that is Psychophage. And importantly, issue 15 for those of us on premium. This is when we'll get our first premium kit with that next delivery. Finally then, the final issue for the delivery is issue 14. So let's take it out and have a look. So, 2 new paints. If I can get the focus in, there we go. Our Screamer Pink and Rack of Flesh. Rack of Flesh is another paint I have a lot of trouble with it going lumpy. So it'll be interesting to see how this one is when we get down to using it. And yeah, Screamer Pink going to be used for a lot of pink details, obviously. So I haven't seen any reviews for this because this issue isn't out until the week after I filmed this. So let's take a look. Oh, I love that. The old Deathstorm artwork where we had Captain Carlane. I have a tutorial on how I converted the new Terminator Captain into this guy. Beautiful box set, came with 5 Death Company, a Death Company Dreadnought, 5 Terminators and Terminator Captain. The brand new at the time Broodlord, the Tyranids had the Gene Sealers, Tyranid Warriors, and a Carnifex. So each side was really chock-a-block with nice models. So into this issue, we got our paint guides, how to use Rack of Flesh and Screaming Pink. So yeah, doing a lot of the parchment detail on our models with Rack of Flesh, so all our purity seals, as well as any like loincloth details. The inside of the Captain's cape, and then for Screaming Pink, it's literally the wax on the purity seals. And yeah, that seems to be about it. Yeah, oh, there is some more for Tyranids. So yeah, that's our Space Marines so far. And for our Tyranids, yeah, it's just tongues basically. So yeah, not a lot to do, but yeah, it helps. It adds a new colour to our Tyranids. Pretty cool. Moving on for our read articles. So one of my favourite factions in the Imperium is the Inquisition, and we now learn about the Inquisition, which is pretty cool. Got some lovely pictures of models. So the classic Cortez, obviously not a new one. He is obviously released before this magazine was, or after this magazine was produced. So we've got the 3 different branches, the Ordo Males, who deal with demons, Ordo Xenos, who deal with the alien, and Ordo Hereticus, who deal with the traitors, usually from within. A little more about Space Marines. We got a new article here about the Oath of Moment. So a thing the Space Marines are dedicated to doing, swearing oaths and seeing them fulfilled. Mightiest Foes, bearing witness. Then we have a little bit about the Third Tyrannic War. So this is the known commonly as the Devastation of Baal, which sees Tyranids of High Fleet Leviathan attack the Blood Angels' home planet en masse. They recall near enough all their descendant chapters in order to help face this new threat. Of course, in the midst, all the blood spilled has awoken the Demon Lord Carbander, a bloodthirsty bloodthirster of Khorne. And we see Dante, Chapter Master of the Blood Angels there, slaying a winged Tyranid Hive Tyrant. So yeah, pretty cool. So next up we have a new mission and of course some new rules. So we're learning about different deployments. So now we have deployment zones, which in this mission is 6 inches from the end. We have 4 objectives to fight over, 2 terrain pieces. And we have some different rules for deploying. Infiltrators allow you to deploy outside of your deployment zone. So knowing when to deploy with infiltrators and the best way on how to. We got threat ranges covered again, objectives and matching unit for unit. And then we have the deep strike keyword as well for units that can drop in from above and take out the enemy with a strategic strike. So knowing when and how you want to deep strike your units, it's pretty cool. You must remember to stay 9 inches from most enemy units. So it can get difficult if your opponent has spread out quite across the board and there's not a lot of room. So for our new mission we have a deep strike. So for our units we have the Captain, 5 Infernus Marines and only 2 Terminators. For our Tyranids we have 5 Barb Gaunts, 3 Von Rhino Leapers and 10 Termagants. So you must deep strike with the Captain in this mission, and you may place the Von Rhino Leapers anywhere on the battlefield 9 inches from enemy models. How to win: you score victory points for 5 for 1 directive, 5 for 2, 5 for more. And yeah, fun little mission. Don't get to use everything we have, so it's a kind of a nice one-sided fight again. And yeah, we'll see how this Space Marines can actually win it. There we go. Moving on to our next 2 Combat Patrol magazines, we have the Psychophage, we learn new fiction, and we have learning about the rules of cover and terrain. Issue 16, we get 2 new paints, Mephiston Red and Squig Orange. So our first layer paint, interesting. And we have Mephiston Red, so we're going to be painting Sergeant heads, hopefully the cape on the Captain finally, the outside. Yeah. I don't know what we're going to be using to highlight with the Squig Orange. Maybe we'll be using it to layer up the Tyranid guns. Quite nice. So yeah, 2 new paints. We learn about the Ultramarines and more special abilities. So hopefully we'll start learning about the Oath of Moment rule for the Space Marines. And maybe even the Hive Fleet adaptations for the Tyranids. So there we have it. That's the latest delivery. Forgot to mention, we also got our brushes. So some really cool brushes. Let's get these out and have a look at them. So yeah, we got a small layer, we got a small dry, and a large base brush. So yeah, these will help. This one particularly will help with the Psychophage. And yeah, a lot of these will come in handy for future armies. Did I have a cover for the small brush that I didn't get out of the bag? No, I didn't apparently. Okay, weird. Yeah, there we go. Right, I'll bring everything back in, give you my final thoughts on this delivery, as well as, of course, all the savings. So there we have it. That was delivery 4 of Combat Patrol. And yeah, a rather light delivery. What do we get? We get 4 paints and 1 unit. Okay, that unit is a pretty big one for the Space Marines. It's the Terminators. So it's technically our last unit for the actual combat patrol, but we are getting a chapter on bike at the end of the first 20 issues though. So we've still got a fair way to go before we complete the magazine's version of the combat patrol. I still think the chapter on bike is a random addition. If they wanted to do something extra, they could have done the lieutenant kit, because I believe you could at least attach the lieutenant to the Infernus Marines and improve their output. But yeah, who knows? Yeah, I think the star for the delivery though is the bonus brushes we get as part of our subscription gift. Very handy, especially for this magazine series. I think I'm going to be definitely keeping those in my combat patrol drawer. Yeah, so the Terminators, their value is about the same as the magazine. A lot of these go for £20 online. So yeah, you're not saving much. These are exclusively locked behind the starter sets though. These are the push fit ones. So I believe the full starter set plus the ultimate starter set, which comes with the terrain, utilize the Terminators. I've already built mine in my Blood Angels ultimate starter set. Here's my sergeant, converted a few little Blood Angel details to make him stand out, as well as transfers. So yeah, this is what the Terminator Sergeant will roughly look like when you build him. But yeah, other than that, it's a basic push fit kit. Not a lot of options, no different heads except for the Sergeant. He can either have a helmet or bare head, I believe. Yeah, really, there's not a lot to it. The full kit, though, I believe is around £40, and you do get assault cannon, heavy flamer, and the Typhoon launcher, plus chain fists. So that's the more classic Terminator box set. I really could do a picking up one of those, I think. The paints, yeah, not a lot of colours, but we do add some much needed details to a lot of our models. So at least they're starting to look a lot less plain and closer to completion. So I'm hopefully expecting after the 20th issue, we might start seeing some shades, because that'd probably be the next best thing to add to our models. Helping to pick out some of the details and make flatter areas stand out better. But we're also going to expect to probably get some more layer paints soon in the collection as well. I think the real value, other than the brushes, comes again from all the lovely information, the gaming tutorials, the new lore we got, etc. It's all fun and very handy for someone, especially who hasn't read much into the lore. It's nice that we're getting it drip fed in easy to read sections. Very handy for those beginners out there. And yeah, the paint guides, pretty good, especially the Terminator one. We're now seeing it even pretty much close to full Space Marine paint guide now. The only Tyranid colours we get adding really is the Screaming Pink to the tongues. So not a lot of additional paints to them. So these are like $2.75 each. So you got about a tenner's worth there. So yeah, not a lot really. We lose out, I guess, because these are the same price. These 4 paints together are the same price as one issue, near enough. Yeah, it's a bit of a loss, but still, we have a good delivery, and it's going to be some new magazine content for the channel. So pricing then, of course, as a premium subscriber, this has cost me $47.96. Savings aren't going to be a lot due to the fact we get very little in the way of paints, but I think these guys do come in at a bit of a saving. as they are exclusively locked behind larger sets. But yeah, I think the paintbrushes as part of the premium gift, the subscriber gifts, not premium gifts, are probably going to help give this a bit of a boost in value. So for ratings then, I think contents, I'm only going to give it a 4 out of 5. We're let down by 2 paint issues, and in fact we're going to get 1 unit. For lore and stuff, there's a nice lot of lore spread out across the issues, so a good 5 out of 5. Gaming articles, etc. Again, 5 out of 5. These missions and stuff are ideal for people who haven't played much of the game, helping you get to grips more and more with the rules as each issue goes on, so very good. Hobby material, it's going to be a 4 out of 5. It would have been a 2.5, maybe a 3 if we hadn't got those paintbrushes, because the paints aren't exactly the best, but the paintbrushes do help save that rating. So yeah, that's going to be a good 4 out of 5 sort of average rating for the entire delivery. So not a bad delivery really, rating wise. It just feels a little empty that we have only 4 paints and 1 new unit to add to our collection. But there we have it. Let me know what you think of this delivery. Are you like me? It's probably not the best delivery we've had so far. I think last delivery was kind of better. We at least got the Termagants and the Terminator Librarian plus 1 paint issue, which weren't too bad. The next delivery is going to be the Psychophage, the 2nd unit of Termagants plus that 1 paint issue. So that's going to be a little bit of a better delivery at least. 2 units and 2 paints. It's going to be something nice to look forward to. We should be expecting that one around just before Christmas, if not just after Christmas. So yeah, the videos won't probably be coming out till closer to the new year for me. It'll depend on when the delivery actually arrives for me. So yeah, I'm off now to, of course, edit this video, and I'll be able to, over the weekend, hopefully start work on issue 11, as it's a fairly easy magazine to get through. It's just going to be adding our new colours. So for the tutorial, I'll focus on the captain again on camera. I'll do everything else off camera on my own time. So yeah, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it very useful. And I'll see you next time on more Combat Patrol Carnage. Goodbye.